Hey guys, welcome to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve.
My name is Arnes.
And I got a new microphone. Only gonna really use this right now for when I'm referencing you guys or if I'm going to be away from the camera. Because I really don't like using the microphone camera if I'm not near because it just doesn't sound as good and I wanted something with a little bit better audio quality. And also for stuff that I'm going to eventually do with the next channel I put up. I'm going to need this thing anyways. So just figure I'd pick it up in advance and make some use of it right now. Because I want to use this for my toy reviews, but I actually have to do my toy reviews in the room back there. Because I don't have room in my game room to be able to do that. Plus I have my computer all set up and everything too. But once I move out, one of the rooms there is actually stupid huge, which I'm going to convert into my game room. Which actually kind of ties into the first question of this Q&A, which is from Evil Villain Hex, which is if I'm going to do a tour of my rooms that I have here of all my toys. Which I actually did one previously, which I'll put a little card up here so you can go check it out if you want. Which I did about 10 months ago, which I actually have some decent amount of new stuff since I previously did that video. But that shows pretty much the encompass of what my overall setup looks like as of right now. But it would be cool to actually, once I move out, I will definitely put up a new toy tour of that place when I get it all set up. Because there's actually a lot of figures that I don't actually do reviews of because just time constraints and whatnot, or I've had to figure for too long, just doesn't seem right to put it out anymore. So I'd like to be able to show them off to you guys. So once I move out, I'll definitely make sure to do a tour of my room once I get everything all set up for you guys.
You can't. It's private.
We'll have a photo of it.
No, he won't. He's lying.
Yes, we will.
All those sex dolls
Right about
and
now.
toys. No.
Wait, whoa.
No.
What toys are you talking about?
I was just trying to answer their questions. I don't know what they want.
And then for the next question is, what actually made me start collecting? I don't actually remember ever really stopping. It's pretty much been getting kid toys ever since I was a kid because all kids have toys, you know. But I just always really loved all the action figures that I got and just all the variety and everything. And eventually, especially with the Godzilla figures, which is really what I was very predominantly and actually trying to collect when I was younger, my parents stopped buying the figures for me just because I got older and they just stated that I didn't really need them anymore. So I just decided to go get them myself, you know, just with allowance and whatever money I could scrounge up and just go pick up new figures. And then there was a little bit of a lull for a little while when I wasn't really buying a whole heck of a lot, except if it was like video game toys and whatnot, like the Dead Space ones over there and like the Halo ones that I used to have. And because a lot of people really kind of frowned upon me collecting a lot of action figures, and I kind of really shouldn't have really cared. But I didn't really buy too much at the time. Like, this is more like high school going into the college. But what actually got me back into collecting was a lot of these Transformers back here, which you actually aren't seeing the ones that I actually started collecting originally. Which was, I picked up the game War for Cybertron and loved the game. Started buying the little action figures for that series. Really fell in love with those toys. And then I started buying the movie ones, which turned into Transformers Prime, which turned into the Masterpieces and collecting the Gen 1s, which got me back into buying a lot more of the expensive Godzilla action figures, and just kind of blossom into what we have today. What made you start collecting?
Yeah. Making me waste my money.
It was me! So I bought him toys, and then he started buying them himself. Everybody must lose money other than me.
I know, right? Making me waste my money on stuff. It just sits there, till my kids get hold of it, and then it's like, snap into a Slim Jim.
Ooh, yeah!
Pretty much, yeah.
Then you asked, out of all the figures I have, what's my favorite toy line? I'm gonna go with SH Monster Arts. It's pretty close with that or the Masterpiece Transformers line. Because a lot of these toys are just stuff that I really wanted as a kid. Because when I was younger, especially with the Treadmaster toys and stuff, which weren't very articulate, I just always wish I had something I could mess around with and play with that was a lot more posable than what I was currently had access to. Because those figures were just kind of like, in terms of like the tail could rotate, whoop-de-doo. But with the SH Monster Arts line, I'm actually able to bend the tails. They come with cool accessories that I can't really get lost at easily. Still can, but it's just a little bit harder. Not like spring little missiles that go flying across the room, you know, and you just lose them under the couch. But I just really enjoy that toy line because it's just, the stuff looks really good. Compose it very well, and you know, a lot of the monsters are the ones that I really love, like Biolante King Ghidorah, Mecha Godzilla, just Godzilla in general, you know. And it's just stuff that I just hardcore wanted as a child, because I loved like making little like set pieces on my shelves and stuff, having a fight, and I just love that I'm able to actually do that now. And even in my little intros for the videos and stuff, I'm actually able to pose them and do what I want with, so that I can actually make a little entertaining stuff with it. And I just love that toy line for allowing me to be able to do stuff like that. Like, it's just awesome, you know. And then the masterpiece would be pretty darn close, because they look pretty much the same concept. Toys move around really good, look exactly how I wanted them to look from the original television show. Transforms awesome, and just love the toy line as well. Even though I don't buy them quite as often as the SH Monsters line, but I still enjoy them just pretty much about the same. And then finally you ask, what if I could only collect one toy line right now, what would that toy line be? And it would have to be the SH Monster Arts line stuff. Even though I know they're expensive, and like say like the NECA figures a little bit cheaper, or the X Pluses, which are slightly more expensive but a lot larger figures. But I just really enjoy being able to fully pose the figures. They're really nicely detailed, really solid figures. Love everything about them, even with the price, hefty little price tag that they carry. But they're just everything I ever wanted in an action figure.
One line, it would be NECA, and it would be Bioshock. Why? Bioshock, my all-time favorite game, best game. Love it.
The next person we're going to go with is my boy Sovereign Rez, which his first question is what was the first figure that I ever acquired? Which, actually, I have it right here, which is my Imperial Godzilla, which I've had this thing since I was 5 years old, which personally for me, I love this toy. Like, it's just one of those figures that I've just always kept around. Really enjoyed playing with it with all my other figures, you know, and just really never got bored of this thing, even though it's definitely not the most articulated figure, definitely not the best looking, but it's just definitely been the largest figure I've owned for a while, until a lot more recently with the larger NECAs and the X Pluses and whatnot. And I just always appreciate him in my collection for that.
First figure I ever acquired would be Big Sister Bioshock NECA.
Which I guess that kind of tied into your other question is, what was my favorite toy when I was a kid? Was again Mr. Imperial Godzilla here, because I just used to remember just using this guy to play with a lot of my other figures. Like, he was always like the villain for my Power Ranger toys. He would play with my Beast Wars, a lot of my other Godzilla toys, especially the more larger ones eventually when I got them. And he just never really lost purpose in my collection. And then some of my other favorite toy lines from when I was a kid was, I really actually liked the Star Wars Kenner line. Didn't really play with them a whole lot, just because I was about 12, I think, when the movies got re-released, and that's when they started hardcore bringing out a lot of the other Kenner action figures. And just when I was about 12 at that time. So I didn't really play with the toys nearly as much as I would have, say, when I was younger. But I really enjoyed collecting a lot of the figures and just going out and hunting for them with my mom. And then I also really liked the Alien vs. Predator line that Kenner did as well, just because of how colorful and how different variety there was of all of the Predators and Alien figures. The Treadmaster figures line, I had a ton of fun playing with those things. With all the Godzillas, and even eventually when they released the Gamera figures, even though I was a lot older, still love those things too. And the same with like Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We had a lot of those when I was a kid. Me and my brother used to fight over those things all the time. There's just a lot of toy lines that I just really loved when I was a kid. Favorite still, I would say, probably be between Treadmaster or the AVP Predator figures, and like the Alien Predator figures, and the Kenner Star Wars figures.
Favorite toys from the kids, Army Toy Bucket, and Star Wars. And Army Man Bucket. Favorite.
And then the next brutal question that he asked me, if Tamashii made a Dragon Zord or a White Tiger Zord and I could only buy one, which one would I buy? Be sad to only buy one, but if I had to choose one, it would be the Dragon Zord, just because, granted, I really like the White Tiger Zord as well, because, again, I got two versions of the guy in my collection, which you can't actually see him on the camera here. But I own the original and the newer version of him. I only own the newer version of the Dragon Zord. But I just always loved the Dragon Zord a little bit more because he reminded me a lot of Mecha Godzilla and Godzilla, just because of the way he was set up and how he always showed up whenever the Power Rangers needed him, where he'd rise up at the water and shoot the missiles out of his fingers and stuff. Like, I just really enjoyed the character, and he just always brought back a lot of nostalgia watching him.
Dragon Zord, it's a dragon, already winning.
Then he asked what would I describe as my dream figure, which, funny question, because a lot of figures that I have are pretty much what I always wanted when I was a kid. Like, really articulate Godzilla's, Transformers that look a lot more like the characters than what you previously got, and then same with the Power Rangers, stuff like that. Even though I would like a little bit more articulated, larger figures, but can't ask for everything. If I really need to, I could just go get the Tamashii or Dinosaur. Yeah. But the one figure that I would personally love to see is from an anime that it's probably my favorite anime of all times, which is Yu Yu Hakusho. Which I know some people would probably scoff at me for saying that, but I personally really love the anime. I just always thought it was a little bit more of a colorful Dragon Ball Z with a lot. I just enjoyed all the characters. Story was really good. Actually has an ending for the show, you know? And it's just always thought like everybody had their own different individual powers, and it just always seemed really sweet for me. Just like you say, had your standard like beam weapon. Cobra had like the beam sword, but then you get into like Kurama using roses, Hiei using fire, and his sword and speed, and weird little eye thing. And then even more characters that use like wind powers, rock powers, just being super strong, and just always it was just cool to see all the variety of characters you see, especially the Drunken Shoe. Love that guy. But I would really love to see like an SH Figure Arts or even a Figma Yusuke Urameshi figure, really articulated, come with his spirit gun, maybe an accessory for his shotgun, and maybe a few other random little things, maybe even Pooh, or Poe, whatever that guy's name is. Can't remember now. Huh. The weird little bird dude. Pretty sure his name is Pooh. So yeah, so I just really love to see especially probably a figure arts version of Yusuke, just because it would really go really well with some of the other anime figures that I got from Figma, and it'd just be really cool to kind of have them all on the same scale. And I imagine they would probably be a little bit more of the company, and sorry for my phone beeping, but they'd be more of the company that would actually probably be inclined to put out a lot more of the figures, especially like I would love a Hiei. Kuwabara, definitely, especially with the headband of love. That'd be sweet. So that'd probably be a letdown for some other people that's not giant monster related, but it's just I don't really actually own anything for Yu Yu Hakusho other than just the DVDs and the movies. And it'd just be cool to get something else in my collection other than the older, crappier stateside ones or some of the other larger figures, but that are slightly more expensive. I just really like a nice articulated version of those characters.
Dream figure would be probably Sayoko, High School of the Dead, 1-to-1 scale. Why? What? It's my favorite show. High School of the Dead. It's winning. Because they got zombies, titties, and swords.
Okay, done.
Done.
The thing is, if Arnes set fire to my collection, what would I do? I'm not going to say murder because that'd be the easy way out. I would definitely say his collection wouldn't survive much longer after that situation. And then there would probably be some kind of epic wrestling confrontation where they'd hopefully be in the square circle, but if it was just out the streets, whatever, whether it be power bombs, elbow drops, you know, you name it. And then it'd just be having him underneath my foot, all Chris Jericho style, over top of him, be victorious. Or I'd just hit him in the head with the White Tiger sword if it actually survived the fire, or something like that. Just beat him with the ashes of all my fallen toys. But first and foremost, I'd probably cry. There would be a lot of crying. I don't cry too often. That'd be one of those situations.
If you would set my collection on fire, I would cry. All my Bioshock would burn. I would be extremely upset. No. I'm not like you, Steve. I'm not some cold-blooded animal who'll go hunt down other people's stuff. No, don't you point at the camera. I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you here. This is between us.
You don't know how hard this is to do. Oh, he's already hurting me.
There will be no retaliation. Does that answer your question?
I don't think this channel's ever going to be professional.
No.
But anyways.
Wait. They don't pay me to be professional.
Yeah, they don't pay us, period. And again, thanks for the support and commenting. Also, love the super unimportant Ranger comment. If you guys want to be called My Little Rangers or just Rangers, please message in the comments because I will totally make that a thing if you guys want to. I think that's awesome. And next, we're going to go with GZ More Production, which asks, what was my favorite toy line from when I was a kid? Or toys in general. Which I'm going to go with the Kenner Alien vs. Predator action figures. And main reason why I really love these, and they were probably the figures I played with a lot more than some of the other ones. Probably on par with the Godzilla figures as a kid. But personally, I just love the variety that all the figures had. Really love that they had a bunch of different unique aliens that you would never actually see in the movies. Like the Prey Mantis alien, the Flying Alien Queen, there's a Panther, Gorilla Alien. It was all really sweet. And then you had the variety of predators with like the Crack Tusk Predator, the chieftain with the really long tentacles that came out of his face, is what I'm gonna call them, where you'd play with the back and like they would start flinging up and down. I always thought that was the sweetest. Then they even had like the Predator vehicles and stuff, and then aliens. They had some of the other characters and the flying ship and everything. And I just really loved playing with those action figures as a kid, and I still have a few today. My dog ate a lot of them when I was younger, because I remember coming home one day and my husky was just in the room just like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, I hope that hurts coming out.
Favorite childhood toys would be the Army Man bucket and the Star Wars figures. I had a huge ship, the Falcon one. What was that again, Steve? Death Ball, right? Yeah, Death Ball.
And then moving on to Louis Duran, he asked why we started doing this YouTube channel, which the main reason why I started doing this channel is because I just really wanted some way to show off my action figures, because I really love showing off my stuff whenever anybody comes over to my house, but not a lot of people tend to come over because I'm pretty antisocial and don't like going out and doing new things and meeting. I love like talking to new people, but it's just always very stressful just doing a lot of new things for me. So I don't really get to show off my toys all that much. And I just thought this would be a nice little vehicle for that, because I just wanted something else to really do with my figures other than just having them just stand on the shelf after I buy them and mess around with them a couple of times.
Why did I start the channel? Steve was like one day, "Oh man, you know what we should do? We should start up a channel." I was like, "Sure, let's do this." That was it.
It was always cool just moving on to the next question, which was my inspiration for doing this, was seeing some other YouTubers do reviews of action figures on YouTube, like Optibotimus, Artemis Prime, and a few other people like Diego Doom especially, where it's just like I would watch their videos and I was just always like, that is sweet. Like, it was just cool just to see people just talk about their action figures. I just always thought, I could do that. Like, I would love to show off my toys, and I could critique stuff, because not every toy is perfect, and I don't mind telling people if the figure sucks, And it's not one of the things like I always thought like I could do it better than that, but it was just I always thought it was cool that it was just something that was like, I could actually do that. Like, that's a thing you could do on YouTube. It doesn't have to be somebody playing video games or doing funny cartoons or something. Like, it's just talking about action figures. I always thought that was just the neatest thing. And then the other person that kind of got me into YouTube, which funny to say, is PewDiePie, because Jessica would used to watch the videos, and then this was back when he had like less than 100,000 subscribers, and it was when he was playing Amnesia stuff, and she would watch the videos with her. I just always thought it was cool that somebody could just enjoy doing something that they love, having fun with it, and then just putting it out on YouTube and just letting everybody talk about it. I just always thought that was the neatest thing, And it's just really what made me want to start doing these videos. Because personally, I really love doing these videos. Because I used to do, when I was a little bit younger, I used to like making anime music videos, which I don't really do anymore. And plus, it's kind of hard to put those things out on the internet anyways, copyright stuff and all. But I really just love editing videos and critiquing them, just kind of making them my own thing. I just always loved that process. Like, even when I remember being in 6th grade where we had to make little videos for class. And it was pretty much the inspiration for what I do with the skits with the little action figures is pretty much what we did with that. A really horrible version of what I do now, but it made everybody laugh, and I just always thought that I really wanted to come back to that sometime, just because I just like it when just people enjoy the stuff I do. And then Godzilla asks, what was the first Godzilla brand that I actually started collecting? Which, I remember, I'm not going to really say Treadmaster because my mom used to buy them for me, so I'm not going to say that I personally started collecting them, even though I was the one that helped her go out and look for them. But the ones I actually went on my way to start buying were the Godzilla vinyl action figures, especially the Japanese ones. Because I remember going to my first and only G-Fest back in 1998, and I picked up a ton of the vinyls that came out that year. And then from there on, like my comic book store that used to be open around here, they used to get some of the vinyls on occasion. I pretty much, every time he got a new one in, I usually would go and buy it. And then from there on out, then we started getting some that would show up at Toys R Us. I'd start buying those, or if I saw them at flea market and stuff, I'd pick them up there as well. And I just really always enjoyed picking those things up, even though they weren't quite, again, as articulated as I really would have liked them to be. But it was just cool having the representation of the monster just sitting on my shelf, and I really enjoyed those figures. And now I more hardcore collect the Asterix Monsters figures over the vinyls, because money constraints and all. But that was the main figures that started swaying me towards starting to pick up a lot of the Japanese figures. What's the first brand of Godzilla figures you ever started collecting?
What? Next.
And then what's the goal for my channel in terms of subscribers? I'm hoping by the end of the year that we'll be over 1,000 subscribers, which would be really sweet. Which, if it keeps going on track the way it is now, should definitely be able to hit that. Be really cool. And then if I do end up starting the next channel, which hopefully be probably around July, I hope to be about where I am right now with this channel the same time next year.
9,000. I gotta beat Goku. That's all that matters.
And then Jay Raffinbuel? If I'm butchering that, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to go with Jay Raffinbuel. But he asked if I can make little buildings for my figures with the giant monsters and robot figures, which sadly I can't, which it's not really, I don't think I can't do it, it's just haven't really tried, to be honest. Because I remember when I was a kid, I used to make take a couple of pieces of cardboard, make them the buildings so the monsters could go around and smush them up. But I never really actually have gone back to doing that, especially with now where you got like the Toho Monster Effects sets and stuff like that, where I already got little buildings to use, and I don't really mess around with them a whole lot personally. And I really just don't have the shelf space to really be messing around with that as of right now, so it's just not something I've really been going for. Like, I've been trying to get the Gamera to actually light up, and I know a couple of people have asked me to do this, and I've been messing around with it a little bit. I even ordered a couple of things, which ended up not working for me. Because other than just taking some electrical tape, wrapping the small little watch batteries up, and hooking some wires to it onto a light and sticking it inside of them, I haven't really been able to figure out too much else to really do other than that right now. I'm going to try getting a couple other things, and then I'll hopefully be able to get back to you guys with an actual successful Gamera light up. And then finally, Spiderzilla04 asks, what is my favorite Godzilla design? Which I'm going to actually have to go with the Godzilla 1962. Because personally, I just really love the Godzillas that have a little bit more of the reptilian look, like him and the Godzilla from Godzilla 2000. Just because I don't actually really know why. I just kind of prefer them a little bit more over the more feline look of the Heisei series, which is a cool Godzilla, don't get me wrong, because he's definitely more fierce looking. But the 62, I just always really enjoyed that movie and just thought he was a cool, menacing looking Godzilla, especially when you have him standing next to that horrible looking King Kong suit. Even though I still love the King Kong suit, but I realize it's not the best thing ever. But I just really love that Godzilla, and it's the main reason why I picked up that X Plus a while back, and especially glad you guys actually voted for that one for me to pick up, because, again, it's just the Godzilla I really enjoyed. But a close second would definitely be the Godzilla 2000, because he still has that nice reptilian look to him, but he's definitely a lot more fierce looking overall, especially with the more jagged edge spikes, which are really sweet accessory for Godzilla. And then just the more kind of like thick scaling and just the sharp teeth and everything. Like, he just looks very menacing and scary and awesome. But the 62 was the first one that really gave me that feel. And then probably be the 1985 would be my next favorite. Just because, again, I really like the scary looking Godzillas. And then you asked, what am I looking forward to with the Godzilla 2016 movie by Toho? Actually, a lot of things, because one, I love that they're going back to the rubber suit Godzilla, at least that's what I've heard, which I really like the CG look of Godzilla from Godzilla 2014, but personally for me, I just really love the rubber suit overall, just because it kind of brings back a lot of nostalgia with a lot of the older Godzilla films. I just think it's a cool look, and it can be done, because the guy that's directing it has actually directed a little short, which I forget the name, but I know it was with Studio Ghibli, which I'll put a link in the description if I actually go find that video again. But pretty much the premise of the little short is this spirit warrior comes from another dimension, and he's Godzilla sized, looks very scary, very Evangelion looking, with the light wings and everything. He's just a very cool, intimidating looking monster. And he just starts rampaging through the city, and then he has like this laser cannon that spawns out of his mouth and starts blowing up everything. And it's just breathtaking for a giant monster little short, because the suit looks sweet, looks fairly realistic, especially for, again, just doing a rubber suit, looked awesome, and the special effects just really went along with it, which you don't really see too often, other than I'd say like the Heisei Gamera films, or the other ones that really tied the CG with the monsters very nicely. And then I believe he did the Evangelion reboot movies, which are awesome. If you guys haven't seen them, you really need to go check them out, even though they're a little bit confusing, especially if you haven't seen the original television show. But they're awesome, really well directed. And if you could translate both these things into a Godzilla movie, again, it'll probably be the best thing ever.
2 more years till Godzilla 2018.
You can bash on him. It's okay. And then what you asked was my favorite video from your channel, which, I'll be honest, I haven't really watched a whole lot of the videos because I don't really have a whole lot of spare time to really be watching a lot of stuff with videos, working 40 hours a week, taking care of 2 houses, and just got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. But usually when I get some spare time, I like to check out some of the videos that my subscribers put out because I really like checking out Diego Doom's videos and stuff, and I usually try to check out everybody's a little bit here and there periodically. But the video I really enjoyed on your channel was the Happy Birthday Godzilla video for 2014, just because I thought it was a really funny video and it was really cute and a nice little heartfelt thank you to Garth Edwards and the movie that he put out last year. And then finally asked if I could make my own Godzilla, what would he look like? If I had to choose, I was going to do a little drawing of it, but I wasn't very happy with the way it was turning out at the time, so I'm not actually going to show off what it looked like because it was kind of like, eh. But personally for me, I really liked the size of Godzilla 2014, like the overall just stance that he had where it was very dinosaur looking, and it just looked a lot more realistic. But if I could do some adjustments to it, I would like a larger head sculpt and slightly more reptilian, because I'm going to really like the reptilian Godzillas. So maybe something that's kind of like Godzilla 2000, but slightly larger, and also translate his dorsal fins onto his. Because I really thought the fin idea was really cool for Godzilla 2014. It was more of like the spikes that were coming off, and they were more Godzilla shaped. Not like the 1998, which I don't hate that movie. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, I thought it was a cool movie. It's not a Godzilla movie. But it worked for the time. And I just thought the Godzilla was a cool design. It again just wasn't Godzilla, but it was a cool looking guy. And he had the same kind of spikes, but they kind of like curved a little bit. And it translated very well in Godzilla 2014, but I still would like the more like Christmas tree kind of spikes that the old Godzilla had, but with the more jaggedness that the 2000 had. And then probably just slightly larger toes, because I get why he had the elephant feet, but it would have been cool to maybe see a little bit more elongation there. And also the radioactive skin. What I mean is, for Godzilla 2014, he had the crocodilian plates on him, which made it look cool and made him look a lot more animalistic. But I just really like the more wrinkled skin textures that he has in the old films, and especially going back to the Godzilla 2000, where it was very more predominant when you were looking at it. And I just like how it just was a nice homage to the people that are affected by the Hiroshima bomb, and where they get the radiation burn and have that same kind of look. And I just feel like Godzilla just needs to have that with him.
I got this. Perfection. Right here.
Also, real quick on an editor's note, because I'm stupid and didn't actually fully read the comment. But yeah, so what was our favorite dinosaur? Mine would be the Dilophosaurus, just because personally I really love the giant frills that he had in the original Jurassic Park film. And also, I know that they don't actually have them. They're actually much larger dinosaurs, but I always thought they were just very cool and aesthetically awesome looking dinosaurs. And Arnes's would be the, if I'm pronouncing it right, the Compsognathus, or the Compy dinosaurs from the Lost World Jurassic Park. The really tiny dinosaurs that end up eating the dude, which I don't actually know why that's his favorite. Probably because they ate the guy's private, but I thought they were cool too. And that's pretty much it for the questions. Hope you guys learned a little bit more about me and Arnes. Probably more so because I tend to talk a lot more. But still really enjoy talking with you guys in the comment section, especially since a lot of you guys are very civil, and it's just awesome to be able to communicate with so many people on this channel. It's been a really awesome experience for me. And hopefully we'll get a lot more subscribers in the near future.
Thank you guys for subscribing to our channel. I much appreciate it.
And I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye-bye. First figure you ever acquired?
Your mom, next.